Well, Megan and I went down to St. Louis on Saturday to go check out the Beyond Van Gogh exhibit. It's not really an exhibit because they didn't have like actual pieces on display. It's dubbed as an immersive experience and something that we thoroughly enjoyed. And we'll take a look at some of that here on the WMAY Morning News Feed. I'm Greg Bishop. The listener contact line, live and local, 217-629-7970. Got time here for a call. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
I wasn't sure if you were talking about latchkey kids yet or not.
No, we're going to touch on that after 8 o'clock this morning because there's a bill that a state lawmaker has at the State House to lower the legal age that kids can stay at home alone from 14 to 12. So if you can hold off, we'll talk about that after 8 o'clock, all right?
All right, sure thing.
Appreciate that. It is the WMAY Morning News Feed. Again, anytime you want to call in live and local, 217-629-7970. So Megan and I went to go to the Beyond Van Gogh exhibit down in St. Louis, and those watching online are going to see some video I grabbed. Just a wonderful exhibit. I mean, it opened with kind of a hall of sorts where you walk through and you see some of the various quotes that Van Gogh had from throughout his existence, and some of that included a variety of things like him wanting to be an art dealer and his correspondence back and forth with his brother, and this is all during the 1860s, 1870s, 1880s, and Vincent Van Gogh trying to find his place in the world and wanting to be an art dealer, but then all of a sudden becoming an artist. So a lot of that was something that was laid out in the initial stage of the exhibit, and something that I think was just wonderfully done. And if you go to bishoponair.com, or if you find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, you'll be able to see some of the images there and how they had this set up. But just absolutely gorgeous, with like various frames just hanging in suspense with quotes and whatnot. But then they get you into a much bigger room, which was just all of painted white with projectors all over the place, from the ceiling splashing down not just onto the walls but also onto the ground. And if you're watching online, and again, you can find the video with YouTube, just search out Bishop on Air and you'll see Beyond Van Gogh St. Louis. A lot of just incredible use of the projector technology. And it felt as if like we were in the holodeck of like the Star Trek Enterprise, right? The walls were breathing, the walls were cascading with all kinds of paint globs taken straight from Van Gogh's paintings, leaves blowing around all over the place. Just really a beautiful feeling, and kind of disorienting as well as you're walking around. Megan and I, we didn't stay still. We walked around and kind of checked out this massive auditorium of sorts that just had all of these projectors splashing this paint onto the walls, moving, breathing, shifting, changing. And then the Starry Night exhibits popped up, and you could really feel some of the brushstrokes from Van Gogh, and just an incredible experience. This is down in St. Louis at the St. Louis Galleria. They built a makeshift auditorium of sorts out in the parking lot, where they have this immersive experience, splashing projectors from all angles, all around, these white screens they had set up. And it wasn't just paintings, it was Van Gogh writings that were popping up all throughout. It was just a pretty incredible experience, and something I think's worth it. Now, it's not cheap. It's not the cost of going to see a movie either. Maybe it's the cost of going to see a movie if you get a steak dinner. But definitely something that you might have to budget for. Tickets were about $45 a piece, and it's about an hour long. You go through again the initial exhibit where you've got all of Van Gogh's various writings and whatnot that are laid out, and you get an idea and a sense of his life and the trajectory of his life. Then you go into this much larger space where you're walking around and taking in all of the projectors that are splashing on the walls and on the ground. So it wasn't just on the walls. I mean, you walked around and it was as if you were walking around a hologram. Pretty incredible. I will say, I think that they could have done projectors even on the ceiling. They didn't have that though. Which I think was something that maybe in future iterations we'll see that. But it would have been great to have the projection also on the ceiling. And I think that could have been possible if they placed projectors on some of the columns that they had in the middle of this auditorium, because they did have some columns set up where they were splashing things on there as well with the projectors. But about $45, maybe $50 when you work in the fees and whatnot. Just an incredible experience. It's there until March 30th down at the St. Louis Galleria, so you could definitely make an entire day of it, but you might have to budget for it as well. Masks were required indoors, but you didn't have to flash any kind of vaccine passport or a negative test or anything like that. So just again, really, really good stuff. I'm excited for what different types of different types of immersive experiences there may be, because I could see this being used for a variety of things. And what's really fascinating too is they actually have yoga classes inside while this is going on. Not while we were there, of course. We weren't there to do yoga, but they have separate events that include doing yoga in the middle of this immersive experience. So pretty neat to see. And again, it's there down at the St. Louis Galleria until March 30th. And you can find more information at vangoghstlouis.com, vangoghstlouis.com. All right, coming back, we will be